All right, everybody, welcome back to another video. I did not make any videos this week, and because it's just been crazy getting ready for Hanukkah and a lot of other stuff happening. And I wasn't really planning on making any videos, but it's about, we have to light menorah soon. I just went on my computer for a second, and I saw on one of the Breslov Hebrew news sites, Siach Sarfei Kodesh on Hanukkah. Breslov stuff on Chanukah, and also the contrast of the Maaseh Me'orech, a contrast about the story of the guest. There's a story, you should all look it up yourself, I'll leave you a link in the description over here. There's a story in the part of the Sefer Chaim Ran, which is called the Sipurim Chadashim and Dreams that Rabbi Nachman used to say over, in Siman Pei. I'm just reading from my computer, so yeah. And it's a pretty tripped out story. It's about a guy comes into somebody's house, and just a lot of crazy stuff happened. And Rabbi Nachman said it on the first night of Hanukkah in the year Tavkuf Samach Tes. And there's a whole explanation of it. And the Breslov Chassidim are noig to learn this sicha during Hanukkah. And the Bnei Chabur of Shimshon Barsky will learn this with a lot of his sayers. So I'll leave a link in the bottom of the video so you guys could check this out. It's all in Hebrew, but it has a little explanation over here, which is very interesting. Probably a lot of cool information here. Anyway, after this contrast, they bring a little inyanim about Breslov on Hanukkah, different things from Siach Sarfei Kodesh. That's the sefer we learn on Sundays. So let's see what it says over here. Just interesting little things about Breslov on Hanukkah. Just scrolling through this PDF here. Hold on. Here we go. Okay, so it says over here that in the times of Rabbi Nachman. So first of all, before we read, obviously we should know that most people know that Breslovers go to Uman and Rosh Hashanah. But when Rabbi Nachman was alive, the Breslovers they would gather by Rabbi Nachman on Rosh Hashanah, Chanukah, and Shavuos. Those are the 3 times of the year that he would say over his Torahs. And even today, people still go for Shabbos Chanukah to Uman. There's a lot of people already there for this Shabbos. And so it says over here that in the times of Rabbi Nachman's life, when he was alive, when there were 2 Shabbos Chanukas, this year there's 1 Shabbos Chanukah, and the last day of Chanukah is on Friday, but it's not really considered 2 Shabbos Chanukas. But when Zleis Chanukah is on Shabbos, the last day, so then the kibbutz of Chanukah would be on the second Shabbos. The first Shabbos, I remember one time going to Uman around Chanukah time. I was actually by the Baal Shem Tov for Chanukah, for Zleis Chanukah. And I remember I met a Breslov in the airport, and he said that the first Shabbos is for girls and the second Shabbos is for boys. So that makes sense over here also, yeah. Anyway, after they told over the story of the Rav that was, for 28 years, he was in the Olam HaToyu. He was floating around in the upper world somewhere, and not in a regular place where he should be, as it is told over in the Sichos of the Rav of Turin. Right? Rabbi Nachman said, Avol Mishia Etzli Bimei Rosh Hashanah Shabbos Chanukah v'Chag HaShavuos. Somebody who was by me, Rosh Hashanah, Shabbos Chanukah, and Chag HaShavuos, Yinotzel me'Olam HaToyu. We saved from the Olam HaToyu. So that's pretty wild also. They say that on Shabbos Chanukah, Tavkuf Samach Tes, which was Hoy Rabbi Simcha, Eitzel Rabbeinu Be'ez Amiras Torah Yimei Chanukah, Shebelekutei Tinyana B'Simen Beis. Who's Rabbi Simcha? His father? It's possible. It's possible his father. I don't know when his father died, but Rabbi Nachman ben Simcha ben Fega. So yeah, it says over there that he was by him when he said over his main Chanukah Torah, which is Yimei Chanukah, in the second part of Likutei Moharan in Siman Beis. When Rav Noson was alive, in the times of Rav Noson, and when the people would gather by him, so the Chassidim would go to him, to the city of Breslov on Shabbos Chanukah, and also for Shavuos, right? Because Rosh Hashanah they did in Uman. Because when they would travel to him, it would be like they were mamish traveling to Rabbi Nachman also as well. But after Rav Noson died, this thing stopped. And then they started coming back to Uman for Shabbos Chanukah. And in the times of Rabbi Levi Yitzchak, Kfar HaYushanim Keilu Shoy Magil Uman Al Shabbos Chanukah Tzibur Rav Kazeh. There was already enough people coming, a lot of people coming in the times of already, by the time of Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Bender, a lot of people were already coming. Achoy Nikra B'fi Anshe Shemenu Rosh Hashanah HaKatan. A kleiner Rosh Hashanah. They would call Shabbos Chanukah Kibbutz a small Rosh Hashanah. It says in Yemei Mornat, which is the autobiography of Rab Noson, it says just these few lines over here. It says that in the winter, he says this winter, which year doesn't say, but it says this winter I was many times by Rabbi Nachman, and before Chanukah I sat with him for about 3 weeks until after Shabbos Chanukah. And that Shabbos he said Torah, and Rakat Harbe. We also danced a lot. So that's a good avodah. Nechtoi shel Rav David Tzvi, Rabbi Nashke Tolchiner. Rabbi Nafka Tolchiner, Sipur Rabbi Yitzchak Bender, he told over to Rabbi Yitzchak, his grandfather, Halehem Rabbi David Tzvi, Rabbi Michli, okay, whatever. That it said that they would play together. That he told over to Rabbi Yitzchak Bender that his grandfather and his holy uncle, who were Rabbi David Tzvi and his brother Rabbi Michli, they would play together on Zois Chanukah a game called Ashtot Metadorf, which in Hebrew means Ir Ukvar, the city and the village. And this game, I gotta get the camera angle over here. It says this game was a very special game that they would play in those times in the house of Chassidim v'Anshe Maisa. Klafim Rahman al-Atzlan. This was a better game than playing cards. Rahman al-Atzlan. By drachim. There was drawings on it. Mahalchim shainim. Me'er lekfar. I guess it was like a map of some sort from the city to the village. And these ways, these pathways were mishulavish besugi drachim mahalchim biyahadus v'avodas Hashem. Each pathway was represented a different part of your avodas Hashem. And you needed a lot of chachma to play this game. Mustaber Chanukah oy the basic Canaan Marnat, and Mustama they also played this game in the house of Marnat. This is the first time I ever heard this thing in my whole entire life. I never read it anywhere else about this. They were also from Noson, so they would do everything that they saw there. Kimoy Kain on Purim, they would play together Achashverosh Spiel, Bekaptun V'Oisher Spiel. I guess Purim Spiel, something like that. Interesting stuff. There was a wedding one time in the city of Breslov before the days of Chanukah, and it went into the early morning. And after the chasna, they would sing and dance all the mechutam to their houses and with instruments and everything. And b'derech klal yukar haklezmer, right? Ayef misimcha sachasana, and then all the musicians who were playing were already very tired. And especially the drummer who was drumming the whole night. And that night of this chasana, the drummer, his name was Yaakov, he was very tired. And the guy who was leading the band hit him on his face. He gave him a little slap. And the drummer started to cry. Yankel apach gechapt und spur freilich. Yaakov stira kibalto tenagin besimcha. You got a little slap. Now start drumming good. Okay, so let's see how this story continues for us. And when they were bringing the Mechutan back to the house, Rav Noson was in the upper level of his house. The Talmid Rav Meir Leib Blecher was staying next to him. And when all the people passed by the house of Rav Noson, right, they were singing this holy niggin, Hayidua, and Rav Noson and Rav Meir Leib heard the niggin. Rav Meir Leib Shayabam Nagim hit him techep os tnuas niggin zela tevas umenoiser kan kanem nas nesel shoshanim. He started putting the words from the Chanukah song Noson Kankanim Nasan L'Shashanam to this niggin that they were singing. Shulimin Eschaskus Atzum Sh'afal Pishe Chrivu V'Timu HaYevanim Es Kol Hashmanim, that even though the Yevanim destroyed all the oils and made them tamei, V'Skabris Hoysech Hazaka Kocha Shlo Hoya Heich Lahadek as a menorah. Right, they had no way to light the menorah. V'Lei Nimtza Ki Ma'at Shemen Chosim B'Chosama Shochan Godlo. We know the whole story of Chanukah. Right, but from this little shemen, right, from this little minoisar, that's how they had the Nes of Chanukah. Right, and this is a limit of Rabbeinu HaKadosh, that even though the Yetzer Hara and his armies are metamen, they make our brains tamei. Achasimcha v'schaskus hu ach b'ma'at b'ma'at kedusha shadayin lo nitva v'nimtza b'chol echad echad. The simcha and the schaskus is ma'at ma'at kedusha. A little bit of simcha brings a lot of kedusha, but slowly but surely we get there. Right? V'hainu minoiser kankanim kikach manik Hashem yisbarach hasalomai shebechol echad ve'echad nuchach shila bo'ezet. Everyone has a little good in them. Afilu im ma'at ma'at, even if it's a little bit. Az ach b'koich ma'at zeh im yeh chosher beinav lo yarp menu az yiskaber b'seif al-chara. If even with a little good, you'll be able to take over all the ra. V'yeh nasa nes l'shashana. Okay. Now let's go back to this klezmer guy. Let me just take a sip of my coffee, which I made a bracha on before. Madibur shal klezmer now nia dibur eschastos hashogar b'fiat shomenu. How does this tie back into the singer guy, to the drummer? Because what did he say to him? He said, "Apach gechapt und spiel freilich." Even though you got a slap, right? Even though you have hard times, even though you're not the best person in the world, you still have to keep on going and be happy and try your best in Avodah Hashem. And in the Sefer Avinei Barzel, they bring this story, that this story didn't happen with Rav Noson, happened with Rabbi Nachman. And when Rabbi Nachman finished off, right, Apach gechat und freilich geklappt. Afal pishe kibalt the stira, even though you got a slap, chayiv hinchol l'tayf shuv b'simcha. You still have to keep drumming. You still have to keep going. So a lesson from the drummer. There was a story that happened on Shavuos or Chanukah, that Rabbeinu, he was sitting at the table with the Chassidim, and he said in Yiddish, he said, "Who has in them such azus that they're sitting at my table and they're going to have bad thoughts?" Rachmana litzlan, with a question mark and an exclamation point. Eini miskaven lanshe chirin, v'lei lanshe Breslov, v'lei lanshe teplik, v'torvitza loy hisker. Right? And he said, "I'm not miskaven to my chassidim from Chirin who were saying there, or to the chassidim from Breslov who were saying there, or to the people from Teplik who were saying there. But the city of Torvitza, Rabbi Nachman did not say." So all the chassidim understood who it was. There was somebody there from Torvitza who did not have shalom bayis ready for 2 years. Right away, Rabbi Nachman got up from the table and went into his room. And this guy stood by the door and he cried a lot. And Rabbeinu asked about him. I'm sorry, and the Chassidim asked for Rabbeinu to help him. Until he promised that he's going to go back to his house and he's going to make shalom bayis. But I guess he didn't have he had bad thoughts because he probably wasn't married. I don't know. He wasn't with his wife. Something like that. Trippy stuff, man. Said Shamati. Who's Shamati? I heard from Rabbi Nachman. So it says in the footnote that the 8 days of Chanukah are connected the 8 hazoyos, the 8 sprinklings of the Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur. Okay, it says that they were noig also in the olden days, in the old tzaddikim, to also play on Chanukah with all types of schoik shel heter. However, but due to our many sins, now we are mischakim b'schoik shel iser. That's what it says in Lakutei Halachos. I guess he's talking about the cart and the cards. They don't like the cards. Very not into the cards, guys. They said over in front of Rabbi Nachman, from one of the tzaddikim, Shemegoydel had dveikus shahoisalei bad lochus neres Chanukah, Allah Hashem al gedoisav in nishbach, that he had such dveikus neres Chanukah. I guess that the oil went up over the cups and spilled. Right? I guess maybe he's shaking it or because whatever. What does that mean? So Rabbi Nachman was saying is that, like, if you prepare yourself, then these types of things won't happen. Like, you could have such a cyrus, but the oil won't spill out. Meaning that we prepare ourselves. Breslov prepare themselves. Right, like right away, like, you know what I'm saying, you have Kalim to understand that this guy, this tzaddik, he had such a cyrus because he wasn't prepared for the amount of a cyrus that was going to come. But we prepare ourselves so it doesn't come and hit you right away all at once. You're able to handle it. I think that's what he's trying to say over here. Rabbeinu HaKadosh Amres Amayim Ramu Belakutei Ran Sin Beis. Right, Rabbi Nachman said the Torah, Yemei Chanukah, Hem Yemei Adah. The days of Chanukah are days of thanks. We have to be medaktik, in Rabbi Nachman's words, just like we're medaktik in a pasuk. So diktakti v'chashafti gam zezoisim u'matzasi ritzik yimei Chanukah b'mispar Nachman im hakoilo. So what's the problem? What's the big deal here? All right, I guess he was like just like we're saying that Yemei Chanukah or Yemei Odah, and the Yemei Chanukah also is K'mispar Nachman Im HaKoil Gematria, so it's all connected. All right, let's see. I don't know what this is talking about. This is a deep Torah with Sheamus. Okay, fine. Now it says over here that they say that at the time that Rabbi Nachman said the Torah Yemei Chanukah, that's his main Torah, so they're always talking about this Torah. We said before that his father, the Rav HaKadosh Rabbi Simcha, was there. Sham b'Torah Hizkar Rabbeinu Inyan Simcha. Rabbeinu also would also mention the Inyan of Simcha, and also the Inyan of the Son. Inyan HaKasav Zeh Yinachmenu Mimaisenu. Right, it says in the pasuk in Bereshis. Ukidarka came b'chol marav the Rames v'lichol b'divrei Torah says kol nasa azim kol achim ma'ashrevim k'mor m'sefer chaim. He would always say Torahs and he would incorporate things that were around him. So so in this Torah, right, he incorporated his father's name, he incorporated the name of his son, he was the son of his father, and also Zeh Yinachmenu, that his name is Nachman. So he always incorporates different things. There's many stories like that, and that is the last thing of this. Wait, is there more? Oh. And they type it all out. What's this over here? Alright, so that's basically Chanukah Avodas from Breslov. Just interesting little things. I hope it didn't go too fast, but we're trying. And I'll leave a link over here, obviously. And everyone should have a great Chanukah. And we're going to do more videos and everything, and there should be a lot of light. Bye-bye.